So I guess we are live. So we will be continuing our research, or let's say our study that we did few hours ago, and we kind of looked into some of the concepts of ESLint. What's ESLint? What are the you know use cases of ESLint? We also understood about CommonJS and ES native ES modules. So and those were the things that we learned about. We also learned about Babel. Why we require Babel? And the topic of discussion came from while we were you know uh, uh, installing React in our project, and I was looking into how I can integrate React in my production grade project, and I kind of stumbled across Vite. And while we were learning about Vite, we kind of knew about auto module replacement, or HMR, which is also known as HMR in React, auto module replacement. And it's not that necessary to just understand, or let's say the exact word, but we need to have the concept of HMR, or let's say of anything that we are going to learn here. So the concept is simple. It will just delete the unnecessary code, so that our oh, my bad, that's that's tree shaking. And out module replacement means when you save your uh, file of a React project or any sort of project, then it automatically builds and solves that code in your browser, or let's say in your output static file. And that is done by file handling and some caching mechanisms. We don't need to understand more detail about HMR, but we are learning React here. So continuing our discussion, and this is the second 3.2 part of our React understanding React video series, and it's just about me talking about and studying React and sharing that preparation with you guys. And it's not a tutorial, or neither it's anything uh, serious, or let's say anything like course. So I hope you just go along with me and just look into the concepts, right? So it is that's the plan here. And this is a new documentation, React documentation site, where if you go to learn, and if you go to installation, and we were in this topic of using TypeScript. And I was also writing note in our Discord platform or Discord channel. So I will be opening that here. And so it's just things are working in background. Let me just do something here, like I might rearrange the rearrange something here, and I will be bringing this thing here, right? And let's just do some things. Okay, this is interview prep. This is the one we are looking for, hot module replacement using TypeScript. And that's it, I guess. Okay, let's just go using TypeScript. So while understanding about React, we were looking into we're just reading here. So that's all, and documenting it in our Discord channel. That's what we are doing here. So TypeScript is a popular way to add type definition to JavaScript code base. So out of the box, TypeScript supports JSX, and you can get full React web support by adding types/React and types/React DOM to your project. So what are these things? We need to understand these things, right? So let me write here, right? So types/React and types/React DOM. What is its use case? If I go to and open these links here, I can see that type/React is a npm package which is maintained by um, maybe TypeScript. Okay, maintained by TypeScript, and its type definition of React.dev. I got it, but uh, looking into its source code, or let's say documented, definitely typed and repository for high quality TypeScript type definition. I got it. Definitely typed means definitely type has recently changed to proper in PNPM monorepo. You want Want to reread this document for changes to the layout of packages in the repo. Current status is that what a declaration file and how do I get them? npm install type slash node. And to install typing for a scope module, remove the and add double underscore. Okay, and these are the things. How can I contribute? Testing, making a pull request. I mean, let's ask ChatGPT about it and what are type slash react and type slash react dom, and let's just ask ChatGPT about it. Okay, and type react and type react dom are TypeScript declaration packages that provide types definition for React libraries respectively. Allows to React DOM with TypeScript by providing type safety. I know, yeah, we all know these things, right? So, but if we go to exact, you know, if you go, if we, I mean, things will get easier if I start reading this blog. So, I think let's just close it, and also let's close it. Let's read once what ChatGPT has to say, and we will continue with our blog. Okay. Type slash React contains type definition for core React library. It includes hooks and APIs like use state, use effect, React Node, FC, etc. Enables strong typing of component props, state, and context. Ensure type safety when using JSX, TSX syntax. With type React, you can define component prop with strong typing. For example, button props functional component on click, uh, and react. With type you can define component props with strong typing. uh, okay, I mean, types react, where is it being used? The package contains type definition react dom library. React dom includes react dom render, react dom create portal, and others. React dom server methods like render to string, and create portal is the one. Create portal is the one. You can use react portal, create portal safely. Why do we need these packages? Error prone installation, version compatibility. I think it's okay for now, right? So using TypeScript in React is, sorry for the inconvenience. Someone called me. So a production grade React framework offers support for using TypeScript, and adding TypeScript to an existing project is really simple. Install type slash React, type slash React DOM. TypeScript comes with tsconfig.json. DOM must be included in lib, and JSX must be set to one of the valid options. And TypeScript with React component. Writing TypeScript with React is very similar to writing JavaScript with React. The key difference when working with component is that you can provide types for components props. These types can be used for correctness checking and providing inline document in editors. Taking the my button component from quick start guide, type describing the title for the button. For example, okay, I think this is the type definition here, right? And I think, yeah, a quick start guide we can type describing the title for the button. And this sandbox can help. The inline syntax is the simplest way to provide types for the component. Though once you can start to have a new field to describe it, can become unwind widely. Instead, you can use an interface or type to describe the components props. This is an interface title string disabled boolean whether the button can be interacted with, and my button props is here, and these are the things, right? So welcome to the type describing your component props can be as simple or as complex as you need, though this will be an object type described with either a type or interface. You can learn about how TypeScript describe objects in object type, but you may also be interested in using union types to describe a prop. I mean, what are union types? Creating types from types guide for more advanced use case. Okay, I mean, we can go into this blog and check about creating types from types guide. Okay. And also let's look into union types, because sometime we get into these kind of topics. So TypeScript comes with union types, and TypeScript type system allows you to build new types out of existing ones using a large variety of operation. Now that we know how to write a few types, it's time to start combining them in an interesting way. Definition of a union type, for example, ID, number, or string. This can be ID number is not assigned to parameter of type string. So for that, what we can do is text or number or boolean. In this way, we can make a union type. Union member is allowed before the first element. So you could also write this. Working with union type, I mean union type is just the combination of all these types that we have, that is given by TypeScript and type. Okay, so that's it for now. Creating types from types, generics type are there, key of type operator, type of type operator, and all these things are there. But with type which takes parameter, okay, we can go on each of these types. Let's just look into in a really surface way, right? So generics are how. Okay, so a number is a generic. Of generic, the identity function is that will return back whatever is passed in. And also any type, describe, identify, any type, identity, type of type. For example, this is just a syntax, but and give me a second, let me understand about type here. This is a part of software engineering building component that only have well-defined consistent APIs but are also reusable. Component that are capable of working on the data of today's as well as the data of tomorrow will give you the most flexible capabilities for building the large software system. And hello world of generics. To start off, let's do hello world of generics. The identity function. The identity function is a function that will return back whatever is passed in. Working with generic type variable and generic constraint are here. For example, using type parameters in generic constraint, type parameter for generic constraint. You can declare a type parameter that is constrained by another type parameter. For example, here's we will like to get a property from an object given its name. We will like to insert that's where we're not accidentally grabbing a property that does not exist on the object. So we will place a constraint between the two types. Kind of looks so complex, right? But extends key of type key, you know, get property, but and these are the parameter object and key, and still there are object and key is type is key, and key is something get property extend key of it's it's so confusing, man. We can ask ChatGPT about it, like, but let's not go that much deep down into creating types of types. Just understand that you will require types slash React and types slash React DOM when you are using TypeScript in a React project. That's it. And I think in all these hooks we will get their own type definition. So type definition from type reacting to types from built-in hooks, you can use them in your component without any additional setup. They are built to take into account the code you write in your component. So we'll get an info types a lot of the time, and ideally do not need to handle the minus minute of providing the types. Okay, use state hook will reuse the value passed in an initial state. I got it initial state to determine whether type of values will be. For example, type of boolean is to enabled and set enabled will be function accepting either a boolean argument or a function that returns a boolean. And if you want to explicitly provide a type for this state, you can do so by providing a type argument of the use state call. I mean boolean, you can do that, right? And this isn't very useful in case, but a common case where you want to provide a type is when you have union type. And for example, status here one with the different string load success error, and this is the status type is ideal loading success or error. Or as recommended in principles for structuring state, you can group related state as an object and describe the different possibilities by object types. I mean, this is the principle of structuring state. Request state might be a type of, like, in the following or nesting or in this fashion. And use reducer hook is more complex, that takes a reducer function. I mean, reducer also can be type defined in this way. That's it. So state and action, state will be of count number, whereas action will be of counter action. And in this way, reducer can be, state reducer can be type defined, whereas state reducer is a part of used reducer parameter, and initial state is also there. So state reducer, whatever the type of state reducer that we pass, or type of, a counter action we pass, the used reducer will give us a state, and or dispatch, or to dispatch that given action. So that's the what reducer is in, you know uh, at its core. But that, yeah, goal is to, define everything with TypeScript. So out of the box we have that in React, and using TypeScript is a few key places: interface, state, counter action, state reducer. And also use context has its own type definitions. Use context actually is a hook, but it's a technique of passing data through componentry without having to pass through props. So it's just like a bag is there hanging around, and you can use that value every time you want from anything. But the goal is that you have, that bag will be enclosing, or it will be in a certain, you know uh, uh, a certain domain only. You have to pass context to its parent component somewhere around the code. So create context and use context are being used here. Create context will create a context. For example, theme context is being created, and that theme context will be used by the help of use context, and use get theme is being used. So like I said, the provider will be there for a context, and my component will be using that context throughout the component hierarchy that comes from my component. And that can be, that theme or that context will be accessed by using use get theme, which is already defined with the help of use context. So these things also, for example, theme has been defined, type has been defined here for theme also in the same fashion. Only I think, yeah, so only just just use type, and you will get type. You will have TypeScript feature, or you just use interface or a type or interface. That's what we are understanding here. Another concept is works when you have a default value which makes sense, but there are occasional cases when you do not. And in those cases, null can feel reasonable as a default value. However, to allow the type system to understand your code, you need to explicitly set context save or null on the create context. Okay, so for example, there is use context, there is create context, right? Create context will have either complex object, which is a type of kind string, or null. We don't know actually, so or we can give null also. And in this case, use context has been called by use get complex object. And if there is no object, then we'll be throwing error. But if there is this object, we are even using use memo for, we are memoizing this, state value, or like a complex object. And yeah, in this way we are using use get complex object, which is a context, and which is already defined by this block. And that's what it is. Use memo is just for memoization and nothing else. It's just like this plain, use context, but instead of that we are memoizing the value. And yeah, we will be learning about use memo in our next future slides. But to understand it, the use memo hooks will create re-access a memorized value for a function called rerunning the function only when dependencies passed as a second parameter are changed. Okay, so dependencies passed as second parameter are changed, and the result of calling the hook is inferred from the return value from the function in the first parameter. So let me ask ChatGPT. I want to understand use memo with example. I Yeah, yeah, I know it's used for optimization, or let's say for caching, or let's see if I have to compute that value again and again and again, or let's see if there is an expensive operation. Then by the help of use memo, I will be using the previous value. I know somewhat know about, just the little concept, but how to use it, and how it's being, practically implemented. And if someone asks me, I might still get confused. So I have to look into it. So React re-renders component whenever state or prop changes, which can cause function or calculation to be recomputed unnecessarily. Use memo ensures that the computation only recomputed when specific dependencies change, avoiding unnecessary recalculation. For example, in this case, AB is the dependency array, and only when AB are changed, and not on re-rendering of the React component, do not perform that calculation. Just perform this calculation on certain dependencies changes, or certain dependencies are are changing, then only perform this expensive calculation, and which is given by compute expensive value AV. In this case, use memo is really useful. But if we haven't use memo here, then memoized value will be uh, calling compute expensive value AV every time when the React component re-renders. That's not good. That's why memoization is really important in that kind of scenario. And the second parameter of the callback, or let's say a function call, or let's say a second parameter of use memo, is the one that we are looking for. That's what it is: dependency array and expensive computation count and text array. Expensive calculation is that simulate a heavy calculation. That's, for example, norm times 2, right? And if I do this result, then expensive calculation will be you know calculated every time the component re-renders. But with use memo, only when the count is changed, we are calling this, not when text changes, right? So that's what it is. Another use case of use memo is optimizing derived state. I haven't known about it. Like ChatGPT really gives us really nice answer, man. Sometimes, like, what does it mean? Optimizing derived state. So, filtering a list. There is a list, and the problem is that. And imagine you have a large list and need to filter it based on user input. Got it. But the list is really large, right? So, and without use memo, the filtering operation will run on every render. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Filtering operation will run on every render even if the list or the filter input hasn't changed. Use memo to cache the filtered result. Let's understand the code here, right? So array from length 10,000 item. These are the items, randomly generated item, right? These are the items. 10,000 items. Item 1, item 2, item 0, item 1, item 2, in this way. Filtered list, source item, filtered item, use memo, filtering item, items dot filter to lowercase into source item dot, okay, just filtering in source. What we are giving input will give us the filtered items, right? And filter items come from item dot filter, includes whatever is the case. So for example, if I type em in there, then 10,000 of them will come. And without you use memo, filtering will run every render. In every render, filtering will run. This means filter include, filter include, filter include. They will hit that source, that items which is 10,000 uh, item long array will be uh, you know computed on every render. But with the help of use memo, only when the source term is given, the filter mechanism or computation is run. That's why use memo is really effective in doing that. So filtering also only when source term changes, improving performance for large list. And when to use memo, use memo only when you have expensive computation or derived state that will slow down your app. Got it. Avoid using it maturely. React default rendering is efficient in most cases. Okay, default. Okay, common mistake. You will do something. If there is no dependency empty, the component is only once. In most cases, source logic can simply be moved outside the component instead of using use memo. Got it. Okay. If the dependency array is empty, then it will run at only it will run only once on initial load. So we have to understand that also. I think things are pretty much clear now. Use memo. We know what use context does. We know what use memo does. This is the second parameters are changed. But TypeScript gives us, uh, type argument to the hook. You can more explicitly by providing a type argument to the hook. Got it? Use callback. Let's just understand about use callback also in with the help of ChatGPT. And thanks for that. Thanks for that. Can you help me understand use callback callback to in similar fashion, right? And stable reference to a function as long as dependencies passed into the second parameter are the same. Stable reference to a function as long as the dependencies passed to the second parameter are same. Like use the function type is inferred from the return value of the function in the first parameter, and you can be more explicit by providing type argument to the hook. Type argument to the hook. Got it? First parameter inferred return value to the function, handle click, use callback, to do's. When working TypeScript script mode using use callback requires additional types for the parameter in your callback. Types of the callback is inferred from the return value of the function. And without parameters, the type cannot be fully understood. Depending on your code style preference, you could use the event handler function from the React types to provide the type for the event handler at the same time as the code defining the callback. Okay. HTML input element, event handler, React change event handler. I mean, useful types, DOM events, and all these things are your children are your React node. Let's just stick with it. And first, let's understand use callback hook. Also, use callback is also used for the optimized performance by memoizing a function definition. So, use memo was uh, use for not calling the function every time when it renders, but only call when the given second parameter of the dependency array changes. We are using use memo in that case, whereas use callback is used to optimize performance by memoizing a function definition. It ensures that the same function reference is returned across renders unless its dependency changes. Okay, somewhat I got it. Why use callback? Prevent unnecessary redunders. When a component passes a function as a prop, component passes a function as a prop, child component might re-render unnecessarily if the function reference changes on every render. Okay. Dependency optimization. Memoizing a callback ensures that the function is recreated only when its dependency changes. Memoizing a callback ensures that only when its dependencies change. Okay, when a component passes function as a prop, child component might re-render unnecessarily in the function difference changes on every render. Okay. You say that the function is created only when dependencies changes. Memoized callback, use callback, dependencies, callback logic, use callback, memorize the function. Then the same reference unless the value in dependency array change. Got it. Payment agent of child component. On click, child, on click, click me, parent, agent of child component, parent, handle click without use callback. Parent, child on click, handle click, button clicked, button increment, child, button click me. Every time parent re-renders, when count changes, a new reference for handle click is created. Child component to re-render unnecessarily because the function is passed as a parameter in the given component. The child component will also render because we are not using use callback. The case is that on every time our parent component re-renders a new reference for handle click is obviously new reference will be created for handle click, and because of that child component will be re-rendered. So use memo and use callback are totally different actually. Use memo is used to call a given function only when dependencies are changed, right? Not on re-render, uh, but use callback is preventing re-render for a given component when a given handler is even called from a parent component. That's the, I think they are totally different and totally opposite in nature, because one handler, or let's say one computation or one function, can be called or instantiated, or let's say, a new reference might be created for a given function when a parent component renders, when the child component is inside a parent component, that for new reference might be created. Or we don't want to create that child component because of that handler function which is inside the parent component. So for that, use callback is being used, whereas use memo will be used only when use memo is used to call the given handler function only when a given dependency array is changed, neither on re-render of a given component. Exactly, these things are totally opposite, right? So with use callback, if I'm calling some if I'm having this, where is the use callback? So handle click is use callback, and if I have to create a reference of a handle click, then don't call child in that case. Just handle click with older reference of a given function. I think so. Same reference across renders, because its dependency doesn't change as a result. Child do not re-renders unnecessarily. This improves performance, especially for expensive child component. Exactly the point, right? So optimizing event handlers, inefficient recreation of event handlers also. Whenever, let's just understand this, right? So problem is inefficient recreation of event handler. When event handlers are recreated unnecessarily, it can affect performance, especially in large list. Use use callback for stable handlers. Let's just look into it. So we are importing use callback. This is a list. It says that it's a large list. On item click, you know on item click is being passed from an app component. On item click is somewhere around on item click is somewhere around handle item click. Okay, handle item click is being called here. That's a handle item click. That's a callback, right? So, and a list will not be re-rendered on item click. Optimizing event and recreation of event handler, which is the event handler is, on item click is the event. And this one, like that. Use in for stable handlers, and handle item click is memoized, so it maintains the same reference unless its dependency changes. List component does not re-render unnecessarily. So these both concepts are both of the code are same. When to use callback to avoid recreating function unnecessarily when passing them as a proper child component. Dependency optimization when callback depend on specific proper stage. Memoize child component using conjunction with React Memo to prevent child components from reading unless necessary. Common mistake: overusing use callback. Um, React dependency is efficient for most cases. Incorrect dependencies. Always include all necessary dependencies in dependency array. Forgetting dependencies can lead to stale closures. Count is not in dependency. Correct usage count must be in the dependency. And summary: use callback minimize function definition. I think we got some of the concept, and thanks for that. ChatGPT provides a stable reference to a function as long as the dependency is passed in second parameter the same like use memo. The function type is info from the return value of the function in the first parameter. Or actually providing a type argument to the hook. Depending on your code style preferences, you could use the event handler function from the React type to provide the type for event handler at the same time as defining the callback. Useful types. There is quite an expansive set of type which come from type slash React package. It is worth a read when you feel comfortable with how React and TypeScript interact. DOM events and change event, HTML input element. Children. There are two common paths to describing the children of a component. First is to use the React node, which is union of all possible types that can be passed as a children in JSX. Very broad definition of children. React element type, which is only JSX element and not JavaScript primitive live string or number. React element children. I mean, You can use TypeScript to define a certain type of JSX element. Style prop, style, CSS properties, React.css property that comes in React type slash React. Okay. For the learning, you can do that. React DevTools, browser extension. I mean, why not? React Native. React compiler. Page will give you an introduction to React compiler and how to try it. This under construction, so we might read because it seems to be a really interesting topic. So let's just read about it, right? So these docs are still a work in progress. More documents are in available in the React compiler. So and working group repo. Okay, you will learn getting started compiler, ESLint plugin, troubleshooting. It's a new compiler currently in beta that we have open source to get early feedback from the community and rules of React. The latest beta release can be found in the beta tag and on daily experimental release with experimental. Got it. It's a new compiler that we have open source to get early feedback from the community. Build time only tool that automatically optimizes your React app. It works with plain JavaScript and understand the rules of React, so you don't need to rewrite any code to use it. Compiler also includes an ESLint plugin. Okay, that surfaces the analysis from compiler right in your editor. We strongly recommend everyone using the linter today. Linter does not require that you have compiler installed. You can use it even if you are not ready to try out the compiler. Compiler is currently released as beta and is available to try out on React 17 plus apps and library to install the beta. Okay, got it. It's a React compiler, ESLint plugin. React compiler also is there, and Babel plugin React compiler beta is there. Compiler is currently released as beta. If you are using Yarn, what does the compiler do? So why do we even care about the React compiler? So I know this topic might not be good, or let's say we are not learning this from the perspective of interview prep, but just to understand and just because it's fun. Like React compiler is a new topic, and I can see I have heard about it in you know I don't know where, but in Next.js docs or somewhere around. Like people are already using React compiler in some of the React frameworks, so that's why I just wanted to learn about it. So yeah, and so now let's just learn about why do we care about React compiler. In order to optimize applications, React compiler automatically memoizes your code. Automatically memoizes your code. So what does it mean? Like to use to memoize means to use memo, use callback. What does it mean? Right? So you may be familiar today with memoization through APIs such as use memo, use callback, React memo. With this API, you can tell React that certain part of the application do not need to be recomputed if their input haven't changed. Yeah, that's what it is. Like reducing work on updates. While powerful, it's easy to forget to apply memoization or apply them incorrectly. This can lead to insufficient updates as React has to check parts of your UI that does not have meaningful changes. The compiler user uses its knowledge of JavaScript and React rules to automatically memorize value or groups of value within your component and hook. Compiler uses knowledge of JavaScript and React rules to automatically memorize. I mean, automatically, we don't need to use these hooks. This means within a component. I mean, uses knowledge of JavaScript. If you detect breakage of the rules, it will automatically skip over just these components or hooks and continue safely compiling other code. Okay. Can statically detect these rules of React are broken and safely opt out of optimizing. I mean, why not use React compiler? It can detect the rules of React, right? So, what are rules of React exactly? Let's just rules of React. Some like let's just read into it. It's like reading a Harry Potter novel. There are a lot of concepts in JavaScript, and it's so fun to just grab one and few of them while just going throughout the documentation. And yeah, I should have done this, a long time ago, but I got some time at this moment, so I am doing this for you guys, for me, for everyone. Okay, so make sure to read these docs. It really like diamond, diamond in the ground, somewhere buried under the ground, and you're just digging it and having those diamonds in your pocket, and you go home and show your diamond to your wife, and she will just be happy, and you sell that diamond, buy some food for your family, and buy a vehicle, or let's say a vehicle for your children to commute. That's the diamond that we are going after. And the ground is really big, and the ground is, it's not even a ground, it's like an ocean, and you are just diving down to get the gem, or let's say diamond. And sometimes the sharks will come, that are called distractions, but you will get through it. And once you get through it, it's really fun to get those diamonds. And one of the diamond is called rules of react here. And rules of react is really something that I just found about just now, just today. And I'm going to learn about rules of react, what it is and what is it, and why it matters. Everything boils down to three word: why it matters. Like, given concept, the tree shaking concept that we learned today morning, right? So uh, if you have that question, that why it matters in your head, then that really will lead you to get the answer. And right now I want to learn about rules of react. What are the rules of react? And I am having that whole question here, why it matters. Just as different programming language have its own way of expressing concept, react has its own idiom or rules for how to express patterns in a way it's easy to understand in your high quality application. By the way, by patterns, there is a beautiful site called patterns dev, I think. Yeah, this is the site written by engineers of Next.js. I forgot the name, but yeah, read online. There are lots of JavaScript patterns, lots of React patterns, lots of Vue patterns, lots of design patterns. We will be reading it in the same segment in later on. There are lots of design pattern, actually rendering pattern, performance pattern, and all these patterns we will be learning about it. But before that, we will be learning the React documentation. And the part why I'm talking about pattern is that all these React frameworks and all these things that we see in React ecosystem seem to use like these programming concepts, or let's say programming patterns, by taking React as a as a philosophy, add patterns around it, and the framework is made. That's my hypothesis, or let's say forget about it, I'm just rambling here. So React has its own item rules, express pattern in a way that easy to understand, yields high quality application. Component and hooks must be pure. That is rule number one. React calls components and hooks. That is rule number two. Rules of hooks might not be the rules also. Must be pure. Yeah, rules of hooks. These are the rules, right? So the section describes the rules you need to follow to write idiomatic React code. Writing idiomatic React code can help you write well organized, safe, and composable application. This property makes your app more resilient to changes and make it easier to work with other developers, libraries, and tools. These rules are known as rules of React. These are rules and not just guidelines, in the sense that if they are broken, your app likely has bugs. Your code also become unidiomatic and harder to understand and reason about. Unidiomatic, not unidiomatic. Man, my English needs to be corrected. It's not unidiomatic. It's unidiomatic and hard to understand. We strongly recommend using strict mode alongside React ESLint plugin to help you always follow the rules of React. By following the rules of React, you will be able to. I mean, what are these things? What is strict mode? What is ESLint plugin? I have been like coming across this concept quite often today, so I have to check ESLint plugin first. ESLint plugin React hook. The ESLint plugin enforces the rules of hook. It's a part of Hooks API for React. Got it? That's the concept. ESLint plugin React hooks. Okay. If you are using Create React app, please use React scripts instead of adding it directly. And I mean, I have to ask ChatGPT is the answer here. I have to go and say, ChatGPT, can you please help me understand what is ESLint? Where is the personalization? Where is our general system theme? Must be okay. Let me change the system theme to darker so that you guys can understand a bit more properly. This is the dark theme that we are using right now. So dark theme is good. ESLint plugin. What is this thing? I want to understand this thing as a React developer. Why this thing matters to me, and I am also a full stack developer in the in Nepal, based in my home, in my bedroom. I, I am learning, and I am also streaming at the same time because I have some free time to prep on a certain interview that I am going to give in few days. And yeah, thank you. I just have a lunch contain lunch with chicken and beaten rice in it. Thank you. Let's just yeah, let's just ask this, right? Why does matters to me? Let's just do this and let's just ask this. Sorry guys for that. What is an ESLint plugin? What is this thing? I want to understand this thing as a React developer. Why this thing matters to me? ESLint plugin is an extension of ESLint that provides additional linting rules, trying to cover specific libraries, framework use case. I got it right. Why does it matter for a React developer? Follow best practices, React convention, implement pattern, potential bug, common ESLint plugin for React developer. JSX use React. There are so much plugins, man. There's no duplicate prop types. Wow. Save dev plugin, ESLint plugin, React hooks, rules of hooks, top level, extra depending every hook like user effective permission. Okay, I got it. ESLint plugin, JSX, accessibility, A11Y labels, ensure GMG and ALD attributes. We need these ESLint plugins. ESLint plugins are good actually. Code will become better. React, ESLint RC.json module extends plugin React hooks. I mean, you can also create your own plugin and you can make a super plugin and include that plugin. If you have a company, then you can import that ESLint plugin, extend it, and your code will be standard code for across your company. I guess just my guess, right? So that might be the case here. And how plugin help in data development? Catch errors early, ensure accessibility. Going for React. I mean, got it. Got it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. ESLint plugin. One is the ESLint plugin, and there is strict mode. And strict mode means lets you find common box in a common using already during development. If my app is wrapped around strict mode, let me just turn on my light. Okay, guys, you just give me 8 seconds. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. I'm back. I just took 8 seconds. So yeah. Hey, is it cold or how's the weather? Someone asked me in the chat. Oh, my mom called me. Give me a second. My mom told me to, eat food, but I already ate chicken with beaten rice in my brother's home. And yeah, now right now we are here learning about React, wearing a hoodie, looking like an hacker, going to hack some React components from React component tree, and that tree will be 3 second so that the unnecessary code will be deleted, and this way TypeScript will be used there so that it will be more type declared, and it will be looking good, or let's say error will be catched earlier with the help of ESLint. ESLint is a really good thing. It also enforces rules of React, and specifically rules of hook, which are already defined in ESLint with the help of its plugin. And its plugin is ESLint hook plugin. I forgot the name. The name is not important, the concept is important. ESLint plugin React hooks will have those rules for hook, and all those things, all those plugins are there, like plugin developer. Software development is run with the help of plugins, so all those plugins will be there. All those developers who are creating plugins, I can use those plugins, and I can enforce ESLint in my code, and my code will be error prone, error free. That's what we want right now. I think I might pause for a second, but this stream, yeah, do not have a ability to pause the stream, so that's so pain in the ass, right? So but yeah, I might go to bathroom, uh, or let's do one thing, just read about strict mode. And from future stream we will be having, the concept will be already written down in somewhere around here, like for example in Discord. We will be saying that we will be learning only these concepts for this interval. We will be learning that, and we will be taking break, right? So strict mode lets you find common bugs in a component early during development, enabling strict mode for entire app or a part of the app, fixing bug found by double rendering in development, rerunning effects in development. I mean, what's strict mode about? If I read all this documentation, I might get few things about strict mode, right? So let's just read about it. Strict mode lets you find common bugs in a component early during development. And strict mode uses strict mode to enable additional development behaviors and warning of the component tree inside. Okay. Following development only behavior. Okay, so is it only developer only? Like, uh, I mean, development behavior, warning of the component tree inside. Development only behavior. Component will be re-render and extra time to find bug caused by impure rendering. Extra time. The component will rerun effects and extra time to find bugs caused by missing effect. When we check for usage of deprecated APIs, exceptional props. Caveats. What the mean? What's this meaning of caveats, or what the fuck is it? Caveats, caveat, caveat. Okay, caveat, caveat. What's caveat? Warning or proviso of specific stipulations, conditions, or limitation. Warning, caution, more red flag. Caveat reminds me of something when I read about red flag. There are lots of red flag in this world, but yeah, caveat. From now onwards, I will tell it as caveat. One of the red flag about strict strict mode is that there is no way to opt out of the strict mode inside a tree wrapped in strict mode. This gives you confidence that all components inside strict mode are checked. If two team working on a product disagree whether they find the checks valuable, they need to either reach consensus or move strict mode down in the tree. It's fucked up actually. Enabling strict mode for entire app. Strict mode enables extra development only checks for entire component inside the strict mode component. This checks helps you find common bugs in your component or in the development process. So, for example, if you are giving part of the code to some of your team, then you can set a strict mode and give that code to the team. And like in a component tree, if they are working on the given component, then the strict mode will be enforced there, and the early box will be cast. You know, but if you miss that strict mode, then they might make issues, and when you integrate that code in your parent code, or let's say parent component, then you will have issues in the future. So just use the strict mode accordingly, like wherever you want. That's the flexibility. But red flag about it, or the caveat about the red flag about the strict mode, is that there is no way you can opt out of it. You have to reach consensus, and you both need to, what does this mean? I want to ask ChatGPT. I didn't understand actually, to be honest. I have to go to bathroom, man. I think I'm gonna pause this stream for now, and I will continue this after 10 to 20 minutes. So thank you guys for watching. It's been 55 minutes. So let's just understand that given line. This statement refers to React strict mode and is behavior in a plateau component tree. What is React strict mode? Development only feature that helps you identify potential issues in a React application by active. Okay, if you enable by wrapping a component tree with strict mode, affect the production build, but depend developer catch issues like deprecated API. Uh, I mean, I got it, but no, there is no way to opt out. I just wanted to affect the production build. What does this tell me? You can opt out with this review. Yeah, about part of your app, check, for example. Got it. When will be some sticker checks and there's no way bypass the. I got it. Yeah, consistency across the tree. Yeah, disagreements and moving in strict mode. Definitely working on the same project, disagree about using strict mode. Reach consensus, agrees as the team whether to keep or remove strict mode is such a pain in ass. Down the tree, instead of wrapping the entire app, place strict mode only around part of the common tree where strict checks are desired. Why is it important? Consistency in practice. Got it. I got it, man. That's what I understood, and that's what it is actually. So, uses enabling strict mode for entire app. Damn, that's such a pain in. we we recommend driving an entire registry. Actually, that's a good, good way. Like especially for newly created type, if you have framework that calls React road, create road for you. Check its documentation for how to enable strict mode. Although strict mode checks only run in development, they have defined box that are existing code, but you can trigger it. Reproduction production strict mode. Let's see if it's spoke before. Users report them strict mode enables following checks in development. Enabling strict mode for a part of app. Fixing box found by double rendering development. Isn't pass to state. I mean, it's a whole lot of interesting story about the strict mode. Maybe I think I have to take a small break here, 10 minutes break, and I will continue on our next segment or let's say stream. Thank you guys for watching. I might in for now, and we will continue again. Okay, so thank you guys in the stream.